insane policy where they're going to Home Depot and rounding people up, and it's kind of scary, and people that are American
because
citizens,
people have been here a long time, and and then you're rounding people up. It is scary, but it's like a response to it's that massive influx.
Yeah, it's an overcorrection,
right?
And it's also like they have a mandate, I think, of like 3,000 people a day they want to deport. Just, you got a bunch of people that are totally innocent. They're going to get caught up in that.
Right.
They have been.
Well, with all due respect, they are actually not meeting their mandate because at the end of the day, Trump is actually using most of his manpower on getting people for anti-Semitism. So anyway, you guys know how I feel about that, so we're not even going to trip. But look, welcome back to the channel. It's been a long day. I just needed to just throw this out here and talk to you guys because there's a lot of things that I don't understand why Joe Rogan is, again, acting like he didn't know. It was actually supposed to be more than this, right? Now, the targeting of the students, Ana Kasparian is going to break it down. Ana Kasparian is going to let us know what's going on, and Ana Kasparian is basically going to counter Joe Rogan for being late to the party, or maybe I'll counter Joe Rogan for being late to the party. But people knew this was coming, so I'm just a little shocked, like why everybody's all of a sudden. He said he was going to do mass deportations. What did you think that meant? So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it.
Right. They have been. Right. A lot of people that have green cards, a lot of people that are supposed to be over here. And then they're kicking students out that write articles they don't like.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah. You love to see it. Joe Rogan is not letting up in his criticism toward the Trump administration and their deportation efforts, their immigration policies. And meanwhile, Trump's Department of Justice has had to drop cases against multiple protesters who were detained during anti-ICE demonstrations in Los Angeles, following news that U.S. immigration officials actually made false claims to justify their arrests.
Oh, wow. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, for real? Wow. Because at first I was like, why? If you get in the way of somebody doing their job and you get arrested, then that's it. Look, they're here. Don't do anything dumb. They're here to do what they have to do, so get out the way. But I did not know that part about the false claims. That's a bit much. Wow.
Amazing. So let's get into the details. The news comes in a stunning piece that was written by The Guardian and covers the anti-ICE protest that took place in Los Angeles in June. Reporter Sam Levin was able to obtain federal law enforcement files pertaining to the protesters who were in fact arrested, finding that the Justice Department has charged at least 26 people with assaulting and impeding federal officers and other crimes during the protests over immigration raids. Now, assaulting a federal officer is serious business. In fact, if you're found guilty of doing that, it is a felony that could lead to a 20-year prison sentence. Now, prosecutors, however, have since had to have been forced to dismiss at least 8 of those felonies, many of them which relied on officers' inaccurate reports, court records show. And the officers we're talking about here are with Border Patrol. Okay, so Border Patrol agents are the ones who gave these statements that ended up being false. The Justice Department has also dismissed at least 3 felony assault cases. Now, again, if you're wondering what exactly was in those inaccurate reports, here's one example. So DHS stated...
So shout out to Ana Kasparian for really breaking this down. I mean, I thought... again, when it comes to Joe Rogan saying oh my gosh, they're picking up people like this and, it shouldn't be like this. They think they had a mandate. I don't understand where everybody was. Like Trump said mass deportations. Did you think that he forgot? He didn't forget. Because they turned around and started saying we're just going to get the criminals, right? Which, by the way, was actually a snub to his base. Listen, when I heard mass deportations, I was totally fine with it. I don't think that you should deport people and put them in jail immediately. I'm sorry. I've heard of people being deported. They just went back home. I knew somebody who got deported back to Haiti. I mean, they went back home. They didn't go to jail. I get the whole, you're here illegally, but we didn't used to do that. So I don't know what this is. But people being shocked again about his policies, he's not even meeting the numbers to the policy that he promised. Now, the lies being told by ICE, for what, Bob? It's just to cause a divide, just to keep leaving us on this ticker tape of news to make us feel like, oh, Antifa's out here, and like what? So it didn't happen? That's a bit much. So we're going to hear what the lies are. By the way, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and the notification bell. Thank you to every eye that lands on these videos.
That they arrested 2 men for physically assaulting officers in response to 2 sisters that were being arrested. But according to the records, those men had actually already been arrested before the arrest of the 2 sisters or the 2 women. And they were arrested earlier in a completely separate incident. So a DHS agent stated that they were shoved by one of the 2 men. However, footage of the incident indicates that the opposite was true, that the officer was the one who shoved the civilian. Now, Christine Soto DeBerry, who's a former California state prosecutor, stated that the filing and dismissal of these cases might be a feature, not the bug. It seems this is a way to detain people, hold them in custody, instill fear, and discourage people from exercising their First Amendment rights.
And the left did the same thing too. Okay, so, and I know somebody's going to say, well, January 6th, you know, they went in the building. Okay, fine. Anybody who assaulted any officers, which I don't know, and things like that, of course, you get in trouble and everything else. But the FBI went after people who were like outside the building. They really, like, during the Biden years, they really went after people who just that never went inside the Capitol, who happened to be in Washington, to call themselves interrogating them. Okay, so this is what's done on both ends. It's on both ends. The agenda is to instill fear so we don't exercise our First Amendment rights. But on both ends, they just pick their reasons.
The Guardian, by the way, also notes that 6 of the dismissed cases, the DOJ has essentially refiled lower-level misdemeanors against the defendants. So I'm really happy to see that the Guardian followed up on this story to see what happened to the individuals who were accused of doing these things, whether or not there was actually any evidence to support the allegations that were made by Border Patrol agents and by DHS. And this is why Americans don't trust our institutions. When our institutions lie, when they literally do the opposite of what they're supposed to do, when they lie about American citizens to justify their imprisonment, yeah, that leads to distrust, rightfully so. Jake.
So I am a very much law and order girl, okay? I'm sorry. I am a law and order girl, okay? And I also believe that when you're dealing with a criminal in a high intensity situation, nobody knows what that's like until you're the one doing it. All right. The closest I've gotten to that is being in psych and having to take people down, with some amazing team members and all of that. Right. But I'm also seeing how a lot of this stuff is weaponized on the American citizen. And I've started to really pay attention during the Biden administration when he came out with the, strategic plan to catch domestic terrorists. And I literally, well, anyway, so I was like, what is this? This is an extension of the Patriot Act. But this stuff has been going on. After 9/11, things changed. And that's when they started rounding up Muslims after 9/11 and saying that we're getting the terrorists. Oh, you see, this is why the Patriot Act works. It just gave a little bit of your liberty for safety. It's okay. You're just going to be safe. But the bar, they always take it too far. They always take it too far. So now, because I'm sorry, yes, I did, after seeing these students in colleges who are protesting be targeted, harassed, and have their futures destroyed. They were doxxed, everything else. Then for the ones who were here legally, right, they got deported for just writing op-eds about Israel, or even, like what's happening with the universities when we're just going after people for anti-Semitism, which is not, it's not here. If I can talk trash about America, why can't I talk trash about Israel? It just doesn't make sense. So after seeing that and hearing how Trump says they're going to stamp out anti-Semitism, like they're making sure that we know they're going to stamp it out from the country, I'm like, well, any minute now, right? Because I'm critical, right? I'll leave it there.